Hey everybody, Paul Abernathy here. Welcome to another episode here at Electrical Code Academy, where we're going to show you the Fast Trax system. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the Fast Trax Black. It's available in the 2017 NEC. It's also available in the 2020 edition of the National Electrical Code. And very shortly, the 2023 edition will be out. Usually, it's going to come out about mid-July. Okay, but if it comes out earlier, just keep checking the website, which is right there below, and you will see it up there when it's available. Okay, a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to learning and studying the National Electrical Code. It's a daunting document. There's a lot of pages in there with a lot of technical jargon that can be very confusing. My effort in creating the Fast Trax program was to try to work you through that and explain the terminologies, offer great illustrations, and then be available to you to be able to answer any of your questions. In fact, starting on June 28th of 2023, we are actually taking our Fast Trax live to a live broadcast every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and you can join it from any of our social media platforms. In fact, you can even go on fasttraxtube.com and watch it for free without having a subscription. So there's many ways to watch that show, and it's going to be a supplement to the Fast Trax program. We're going to be answering student questions. We'll be answering other questions that are submitted through the Let's Ask Paul portal over at paulabernathy.com. We're going to do many lessons that come out of the Fast Trax program. And then, of course, we'll talk other industry news where necessary and even possibly have some special guests on the shows as it progresses into this new live series. Make sure you mark your calendar, June 28th, 2023, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Okay? All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we do in the Fast Trax program. We're trying to bring you to the beginning of the code, teach you a little bit about the history of the code so that you have an understanding of the foundation and why it's there. We'll work you through definitions because definitions are critically important, and we're not going to cover every definition, but we're going to cover critical definitions. The key thing here is that we show you how to maneuver Article 100 so that you can learn these definitions, and when you do our competency reviews, and you'll see that soon, that you're going to know where to go to look up these answers. Okay, so we give you the tools, but you have to take those tools and run with them. And our program is designed to walk you through that. There's 19 units in this program. There's 5 sections. So these units are broken up into different sections. And it literally takes you through the looking up things in the code, understanding the basic fundamentals of the code, but then it gets deep into calculations. And so we do single-family dwelling, multifamily dwelling, and even other than dwelling, commercial applications. And you walk you through it. We'll even do some examples of a 6-unit and a 12-unit multifamily building. At any point along your journey, you get confused or you need help, we're here to help you. That's the key difference in our program. And the concept is, I do not want you just worrying about passing an exam. I want you to feel like you take something away from our course so that you can use it out in the field. That's a selfish pleasure that I have, is that I know that my students learn the code, but then they become better electricians out in the real world. When you see people doing things wrong, you step in and you fix the issue. That's the biggest source of pride I get, is living vicariously through my students. And we have literally thousands of successful students in our program. But you got to put in the work. You can't just buy the course, flip the pages, read the material, look at the graphics, and think that that's it. You got to do the work. Well, with that said, let me show you some of the work. Okay, when you get into our program, you're going to see your course in your little area where you have all your courses. And you're going to choose your course. Now, there's a registration process that you have to follow. When you purchase our course, that's going to come via email within 5 business days. When you purchase our course on our website, which is at the bottom of the screen, you don't get instant access. Now, we do have a budget program, which gives you everything that's in this material, but it doesn't give you the competency reviews that I grade personally, and you don't get access to over 800 practice exam questions. Okay, it's a budget course, and it is available on our website. But you're looking at the Fast Trax Black, has all the bells and whistles, and so let's go on and deep dive. Now, this also is available in the Fast Trax Plus. What's the difference? Well, the Fast Trax Plus is the same as the Fast Trax Black. The only difference is that you also, with that purchase, you get access to 12 months of our video library over on fasttraxtube.com. Don't worry, you'll get all the instructions for setting that up when you purchase the course. Okay, as you can see over here on the right, here's your course. In our case, we're going to be looking at the 2020 edition of the Fast Trax Black program. So I'm going to click it and we're going to get into this thing. All right, so once you get into your program, you're going to see all of your stuff on the left. It's got your courses, your home, back, log out, and everything here. You see everything you've got here, log out. You can minimize it by hitting this up here, so you can close that. So here's your courses. Now, you'll notice that it's broken into 5 sections. Each one of these sections has units in it. You're going to systematically go through every unit, every section, one at a time. So we're going to kind of give you an example of that. But before you do anything, you always want to stop and go into this first folder that says how to use the Fast Trax. You click on it, and here you'll get a link to a video. Please make sure you watch the video, because the video is going to show you a lot of the features so that you can be more comfortable with maneuvering through the program. Okay? There's a lot of features here, so that's why we put this video together. Remember, you invested in your future. Take the time to do it right. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. It takes at least 90 days to fully understand what's needed to be totally successful on an exam. But you have to study the right way, and we're going to show you how that's done. So here, once you watch this video, and again, if there's any errors in the program, you'll get them down here. So make sure you check the error log, because from time to time, as with any educational program, we find things in there that we don't like and we want to make it a little bit better. Okay, so we do that. So if you see something, just make sure ahead of time that you know that there is a correction log, and you notice that it's confined to specific lines of the reading material. It's not widespread. It's very significant, but it only pertains to that specific area that had a correction that we needed to discuss. So don't let it sidetrack you. There's nothing in the competency reviews. There's nothing in there that are errors. This is just errors in the reading material that we feel needed to be corrected. Every educator has it. Okay, so we just take that extra effort of identifying the very few. Now remember, this document is extensive. We only have a couple things that we corrected because we didn't agree with the original content when this was published. So don't worry, we got your back. Now, what you want to do here is start at section 1, and I'll show you. Each one of these sections opened up. And here you see there's units inside this section. Unit 1, you'll see that there's the reading material, there's the Unit 1 review, there's a Unit 1 assessment, there's a unit drill. All these things are simply to test your knowledge. This is a lot of questions to hone your skills that are based on not only the reading material, but also based on the contents of the National Electrical Code. That brings me to another important thing. Always have your code book with you when you're doing the Fast Trax program. Why? Because there are going to be little chevrons in there with code references, and you need to stop and go to your code book and read the reference that we give you. That's called ballistic training. Moving in and out of the code book, back into the course material, into the code book, you're just going to become a better electrician, and you're going to understand how to take an electrical exam. Okay? So here you got your review material, the reading material, and you simply go through it all. Now we also have a collection of videos that you can watch in here. Now these aren't the same videos that are over on the Fast Trax Tube, by the way. Okay, so if you get the Fast Trax Black, you don't get access to those videos. You get the videos that are in the program, but if you want other good videos by me and other educators on different topics, then you want to also go on and think about getting Fast Trax Plus, because that plus is the extra videos. That's the only difference, okay? But you do get some videos here, okay? All right, so anyway, I want to kind of give you an idea. So let's say you're going through this unit, and you get to Unit 3, and you want to go to the reading material. So I'm going to click the reading material. And what it's going to start out with, what you'll end up going to, is what's called a chapter introduction. Now, in this chapter introduction, kind of read it. This is kind of going to explain what you're going to cover in this unit, how in-depth it's going to get. And then you can start your reading material. Here's your introduction right here. Now, I'm going to show you something. When you take your mouse, okay, so you've got a mouse just like this one here, and you left click and you hold it and you drag over all this content and you let go, it's going to pop up a menu. Here, you can highlight it any color you want to make something stand out. You can add a note if like you got a question that you want to ask on Wednesday nights, but you're right here in the middle of the material and you're like, okay, I want to make a note because I don't want to forget to send it to Paul so that he can discuss it on Wednesday night. Okay, so you hit the note button. If you want to read this aloud, this is called the ballistic training module, which actually reads all of this text loud to you. Check this out.
Choosing the right type and size of box, parenthesis, or enclosure is very important to installing a system essentially free from hazard. Article 314 covers a variety of provisions concerning.
Now, that could have possibly echoed, I don't know. We'll see, I apologize. But the point is, I wanted you to see that it actually can read you the material. So if you're tired, you're not feeling it tonight, you're just like, okay, I want to study a little bit, but I want to have it read to me. One of the most powerful features here is to have it read it and you actually follow the bouncing ball, if you will. What that's going to do is that's going to enhance your retention of the material because you're forced to read it and you're following along as you hear it. Okay. Now, if you don't like the cadence, you think it's too quick, you don't like you want a man's voice or whatnot, check this out. See over here on the right, this little feature right here, this is called Reads Speaker. Click on it, and it allows you to change the speed. Now, I like medium because that's more natural speaking tone, but you can change it to from male to female to Australian. So if I change it to that, and now I just choose a little bit of it here to read, let's do that much.
Choosing the right type and size of box.
Okay, it will read it to you. And again, you can go right here and you can
Chapter
press this,
introduction.
And it will read everything.
After studying this unit.
So you don't have to highlight it. You could just immediately go in here and click this right here, and it will read it all to you. I recommend you using it sparingly and being very specific in what you want to do. So for example, I might just highlight this part, and then I will read it. Okay. So if you want to highlight, now let me show you what happens, folks, because this is so cool. Let's just say you had something you didn't understand and you wanted to ask a question on Wednesday night. You can take the portion that you don't understand and highlight it. Let's just say it's this material. I'm highlighting it, so it's going to be yellow. And then I right click on it, or left click on it, excuse me. I'll left click on it, highlight it out, left click on it, and I'll add a note. And you can type your note in here. And you can type whatever you want in here to be able to ask on the Wednesday night. Okay, then I'll click save. Notice that it puts a little note marker up here. And it changes it from yellow to orange. Notepad. You click on that notepad, it'll pop it up. Okay, now check this out. Another neat feature. Over here on the right, you see what this says? Study Hub? Click on Study Hub. Check this out. So in Study Hub, any of your notes will appear here. So remember I did something just wanted to do Unit 3 notes. So here's the enclosure, here's the introduction, and here's the note that I made and the information that I highlighted. So at the time that it is fresh for you, that you wanted to write a note or ask a question, while it was fresh, it's all right here. So then all you got to do is left click, drag over it. Then right click, you can copy it and paste it in an email and send it to us, and we will address it on Wednesday nights. Is that cool or what? All built in here. You also have everything that you highlighted in here. When you want to get rid of the note, just click that and it'll get rid of your note. Now, let's look at another thing. Let's say that you're in the middle of your reading and you're tired and you want to bookmark it and come back later. All right, so I just come up here and click this little bookmark. Boom. See it turn red? Now watch, let's say I closed it down and we're at Unit 3 because I have a bunch of things saved in here. We're at Unit 3, I'll close it down. So now let's say you come back the next day. You want to go right here to Study Hub, click on it, go down to Bookmarks, and there's Unit 3. And the one we did was the introduction. Click it, and it'll take you right back to the introduction. When you want to get rid of the bookmark, you just turn it off, and it'll remove it from your list. So it allows you to be able to study, stop, and come back and recontinue your lesson. Isn't that awesome? So you go through the program, you simply navigate it from page to page. As you can see, we have great illustrations. Up here, you can print any page you want. So if there's something that really strikes you that you want to keep in your code book or you want to take with you somewhere, print it out. If you want to print the whole thing, print the whole thing if you want. You print it page by page because you really don't need to print the whole thing. Now, let me talk about those chevrons, okay? Giving you these little tips in our program. All right, for example, see right here, see this chevron? And this is making reference, and I'll highlight it. Let's just highlight in green here. This chevron is telling me to look at table 314.16a. So while you're doing this material and you're reading this and it's giving you these chevrons, guess what you got to do, folks? You stop, grab your code book, go read the reference they give you. In fact, if you're highlighting your code book and you're in a state that allows you to highlight, then you highlight things that are based on the chevrons because that is critical information. Now, you're not going to do the entire table, but you're going to highlight the heading of the table so that it reminds you that that's something important. Again, follow these chevrons. Let them move you in and out of your code book back into the course material. So here's some notes, important notes, some more chevrons to go look up. Okay, there's some more down here to go look up, and they are germane to the text. That's what's important, okay? So I can highlight it. I can make notes to ask us on Wednesday nights. I can read the text to me. That's the ballistic training. All right, all those things are here. And all of your highlights, your notes, and your bookmarks are always available over here in the Study Hub. Right here. There's your notes and highlights, and there's your bookmarks. Okay? Pretty amazing program if you think about all the stuff that you get in this, and it walks you through it. All right? So a lot of people say, well, it is a lot of reading. And absolutely. And why is it important to be more focused on the reading and let the videos be supplemental? Let me explain. You're not going to be able to watch videos on your exam. You're not going to have them out in the field. You need to know how to read the code book. And the biggest thing that people struggle with is called reading comprehension. If you need to read something and then understand it, it's kind of hard to do that with a video. Now, we do give supplemental videos, but that's to hammer home what we're teaching in this program and to hammer home simple principles like box fill, raceway fill, range calculations, pull box calculations. We need videos sometimes to help supplement that, although we go extremely deep on that in this course. Very deep, okay? And again, deep with calcs. So don't worry about whether or not, are you going to cover calculations? Absolutely, we're going to cover calculations in this program. Without a doubt, that is one of the key focuses of this program, okay? So anyway, as you can see the material, you simply just scroll down and move through the material. Now, what happens when you get to the end of this unit? Once you've read all the material, you're going to have to do what's called the unit review. And that's it right here. Now, notice that it says count towards your grade. These means that you're going to have to do them, and they do count towards your grading when you get an overall grade. And what we're looking for is staying above 85%. That's that magic number. Now, if you do this and you fall below that, don't worry, you'll get better. It just means that you need to work a little harder and be a little more focused. But let me show you another powerful thing that this course does that no other course does. Nobody does this, because when they sell you something, they're done with you. I'm never done with you. You're part of my family. So let me show you what the review's all about. So check this out. Every unit has what's called a competency test. And you're going to actually have to answer these questions, okay? Now, not all of these questions are going to be based on your reading material. But that would be kind of foolish, right, if we did that. But what we're doing here is we're going to ask you questions that you should have learned how to find the answer based on working through the unit. Now, of course, we might throw some in here that are germane to the reading material, but we really kind of, one of those scenarios where if we give you a fish then you eat for a day. If we teach you how to fish, you eat for a lifetime. So we don't want to just regurgitate questions based on the reading material. We want to challenge you. And so these questions will challenge you. Now, again, all you've got to do is come in here and give your NEC reference. Now here, this is important. Do not submit a competency test without an NEC reference. Now, if it's asking something like a calculation that doesn't really have a reference, then that's okay. But most all of them, of our questions here, have an NEC reference to support your answer. Okay, so you don't just put the answer here. Like here, you don't put just the answer and leave the NEC reference blank. It defeats the purpose of the whole program. We want to know that you know how to navigate the NEC. So you're going to put the code reference here that supports your answer. Now, once you've done all of this, then you simply come down here and you click the submit button, and we grade every report on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay. Now, let's say you're only halfway done, right? And you're not finished and you're like, oh, well, I will come back and do it later. That's fine. You don't have to do this an entire sitting. You can do it later. But all you got to do is come down here and click the save button. And it will save what you've done. And then when you come back later, you can finish it. And once it's done, submit it. Now, if you have anything in the program that asks you to do a diagram or a drawing or anything, then you would do that on a blank piece of paper, and then you would come back in here and you click this right here, and it would allow you to upload it from your computer. So save it on your computer, whether you scan it in or it's a Word document, then you could upload it. But we really need you to use the online feature and put all of your answers and code references in here and click the submit button. That's the key, okay? All right, so after you do this, guess what? I will personally, nope, not an assistant, not somebody else. I personally grade every student. And we have over 5,000 students in our program, whether it's the residential, the commercial, grounding and bonding, the Fast Trax Black, Plus. I have a lot of students, and I personally grade everything. And it's just the way it is. I like to be involved. I am not just selling you something and not going to be there to support you. That's the difference between me and many other educators in the industry, right? And I'm not downing them. I understand it. They don't have the infrastructure that we have to be able to do this, and I'm dedicated to this, okay? So once you finish this review, it'll be graded, and then, of course, you have an assessment to do, and that's what you do before you leave this unit. It's kind of a last-minute checking you out, and then you go to the next unit. Now, folks, it's just that simple. You work from unit 1, you finish everything in there, you go to unit 2, you finish everything in there, then you go to 3. You don't jump around. You don't go to unit 8 and 9 and 10 when you haven't done 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the biggest mistake you could do. Please, unit by unit, step by step by step, okay? So that's pretty simple. That's how you go through the units. Now, in here, we've also included some additional videos. So you have a lot of other videos in here. Again, these aren't exactly the same videos that are over in our Fast Trax 2, but they are included in here for your benefit. Some of them are dated, but the relevant material is still accurate. You even have some sessions in here from our Wednesday night session that used to be closed. So it was a closed group, and now it's an open thing done every Wednesday night. But these videos are really important, so you get to watch them and kind of sit in on the discussion that we might have had during our Wednesday night sessions before they went public. Okay, so that's really a good benefit as well. Now, also something else you get down here. Now, this is important. As you're going through this unit, we want to test your skills. You want us to constantly be practicing your lookup skills. Don't wait until the end of all of your units to start going into this next folder. I want you to do it right away because you can do these over and over again, and you're going to see your scores get better. So right here, check it out. This is called the Fast Trax Professional Licensing Exam Prep, and this is all of it. Now, the first thing you're going to do is watch this video. This is called how to identify the root of a question on an exam. I talk to you about how to dissect it. Why is that so important? Because don't just try to rapidly go through questions. You don't need to do that. You spent good money for these questions. We need you to take your time, take a question, and dissect the crap out of it. Okay? And if you want to later time yourself, then just use your timer on your phone, put it at 2 minutes, and do each question individually. You don't have to replicate an exam, but what you do have to do is try to be able to look at a question and dissect it out. What's the root words? What's the things that you're looking for that's going to help the index in the back of the code be more valuable to you? Maybe the table of contents to be valuable to you. Or maybe it's just terminologies that you know because of your experience in the field. You need to be able to dissect that question. So after you watch this root video, now you can jump into the questions. Now this is amazing. Check this out, folks. So right here, you're going to get 20 practice exams. There's 25 questions each. They are not timed. Take your time and dissect it. Okay? Then after they're all and you can do these at any time. Don't wait till the end to jump into these. Just try to focus on getting scores above 85%. And if you get a score below 85, do it again. It scrambles up the questions, but it's important that you keep pushing yourself. Don't give up. Don't get frustrated. Keep pushing along. Now, once you do all these, and also ignore the fact that this says journeyman and that this one says residential and this one says master and this one says sign. Ignore that because they're all based on the National Electrical Code. How many of you heard me say this before? I don't give you courses that do masters and journeyman because code is code. The reason we break these down is because of the focus of the type of questions. But they're all subject to be on your electrical exam. If you think that you're taking the journeyman exam and you're never going to see any questions that are worthy of a master exam, you're mistaken. I have been on many committees that help write exam questions and create tests for licensure. There are a lot of questions that we see that are difficult journeyman questions that really should be on a master's exam and vice versa. So don't worry about what they're called. Just do them one at a time until you're getting 85s. And there's some in there that are a bit wonky. If you have any question, feel free to reach out to us. We'll explain it because there are about 6 questions in there that we disagree with, but because of copyright reasons, I cannot change those questions. God, I wish I could change them, but I can't. But look, with over 800 questions in this database and you only have about 6 that are a little wonky, that's a pretty darn good ratio. I'm telling you, folks, don't let that slow you down. There's a lot of good material in there. And if you think that there aren't exams out there with mistakes on them, then you would be mistaken because they're out there all over the place, okay? So anyway, we have done a pretty good job. We've identified which ones they are. So if you think one of them is a bit wonky, reach out to us. The best thing you can do, check this out, is ask us on Wednesday night. Send it to us ahead of time. Or better yet, go to paulabernathy.com and post that question. Make sure you copy it and paste it in its entirety. Post it in there and send it, and we'll explain it to you. And we'll say, you're right, it was a wonky question. Think of those as little Easter eggs. If you can find them, then you're doing what? You're doing amazing stuff, right? So that's what you do there. Now, once you get done all of these, and you really need to focus on doing these as well, now you get down to what we call the final exams. Now check this out. Each one of these is a minimum of 100 questions, and we've got 2 of them that are timed. Now it gives you 2 hours. Okay, that's 120 minutes. I truly doubt that you'll finish these, but that's okay because what we're doing is subconsciously working on your speed. So just relax. Work on those. You've got a timer. If you don't finish, that's okay. Not a big deal. And now you've got these other ones down here. Again, don't worry about what they're called. Do these, and these are not timed. Take your time on each question to dissect it. Now, if you really feel like you want to time yourself, then again, even on these down here, do each question one at a time. Set your timer to 2 minutes. When you're ready to answer that question, click that timer, try to answer the question, and then click your timer to stop and see what time you had left. If you go over the 2 minutes, then you know that you're struggling a little bit, okay? And you just need to work on your dissection of the code question. Trust me, folks, there's a reason, there's a method to this madness. This is why our success rate is well over 99%. If you commit to the program, don't think you're going to pass just by osmosis. You must commit to the program and follow it unit by unit by unit, and you must do these practice exam questions. And again, don't worry about the time and the speed. Now, when you get down to about 2 weeks from your exam, then you can start focusing on speed. And that's when you can do the timed ones. That's when you can, and I would save those timed ones for then. Do the other 3 because you can literally take your time on answering these questions. But at any time you want to work on your speed, just get your timer and set it for 2 minutes, hit it, and just answer those questions. Okay? It's really in your hands how you study. But don't forget these questions are here. Just because you're doing the units, don't forget these are here. Also, one of the other things that we give you here, because we want to keep it well-rounded, is that we also will give you access to residential and commercial blueprints so that you can kind of look at them, get a feel for blueprints, because some exams will ask you how to read the lighting schedule, things like that, and we have all that in here for you. So we want to provide that to give like an extra benefit. Others don't do that. We do that, okay? Now, if you really want to take your game to the next level, then you will go with the Fast Trax Plus, because we have videos over on Fast Trax Tube that you'll have access to. And videos together with this course material is amazing, okay? They work together as a system. Individually, videos, I don't recommend just learning by video. Reading material is the way to go, and you can do that without any video, and that is the best way to go. But now dump a little video on top of that to help, bring that synergy together. That's what the Fast Trax Plus does. And we give you a discount for purchasing it at the same time, okay? Now, real quick, let's run through some other things here that I want to point out. If you're doing your competency review, let me show you again the competency review. Let me show you. If you're doing the competency review, we expect you to use the National Electrical Code, but if you're in Unit 6, for example, you do have access to the course material. Check this book out right here. You see this? Click on it. And what it does is it opens up the course material. You can go to Unit 6, and here you have all these links. So maybe you're answering one of these questions, and you want to use the link to get there, because, again, you can use the course material and the National Electrical Code. Just remember, the NEC reference needs to come from the NEC, not the course material. Okay, and your answer, if it's A, B, C, or D, all you got to do is put in A. That's it. Okay, don't try to justify your answer. Don't try to go here, there. Just give us the answer. Keep it simple, stupid, folks. Just give us the answer. Now, again, you can link on any of these, and it'll take you to anywhere. And here's the course material, the same as it would be in the program. It's just in the book format. Okay. And you can do the same thing here. You can read it. You can increase the size. I didn't show you this. Look, I can make the text larger. I can make the text smaller. Same over here as well when you're doing the review material. When you're going through your course, you can make the text larger or smaller as well. But you always have access to the course book right here, and you notice you can print from here as well. Another neat feature that we have is glossaries. So in here, you'll have different glossaries of terminologies. Okay, all of these different terms. They're interesting to read it. A lot of times I tell people to take about 10 minutes before you're studying to read some of the glossary. But there's another amazing feature that's built into our system that's like no other, and that is the flashcards feature. That is amazing. So let me show you what that is. So down here, you see this thing that says flashcards. You click on flashcards. You get flashcards for every unit that are already pre-made. But here's a neat thing. If you use Unit 1, and that's what I like to do, Unit 1 as a repository, in Unit 1, you can create your own flashcards. And here's something that I recommend to make you a better electrician, a better prepared for an exam, is how about you make a flashcard on every article in the code book? It's just simple. Here, create a card. All you're going to do is key here. I'm going to put article. Let's see here, article 210. And that would be branch circuits, and that's what we put down here. Branch circuits. And we save it. And that's going to create a card. Now we can go to the next card, and we can find the one that we just did. See how they're all done this way? Well, let's get there. All right, so there's our article 210. What is that? That's branch circuits. Click on it. Branch circuits. So if you do this for every article, take a little time to do it. And I like to do it in Unit 1 because that's where the most space is. If you do that for every one, guess what? You'll start learning how to, 210, branch circuits, okay, 240, overcurrent protected devices, 215, feeders, 225, outside branch circuit and feeders, 430, motors. Hey, how about you even do a flashcard for all of the important tables in the NEC. So if you said equipment grounding conductors, 250.122, supply side bonding jumpers, 250.102C. Let's see here. If we want to do grounding electrode conductors, 250.66. There's so much. Maybe I want to do the tables for FLC for motors in 430.247, 248, 249. The sky's the limit here, folks. And the more you do these flashcards, practice, practice, practice. When you get a question on an exam and you see something that's, say, talking about electric vehicles, and you're like, ooh, that's 625. Boom, you know where to go. You see something on pools and swimming pools, you know 680. Boom, I know where to go. Photovoltaic, 690. Trust me, you're investing in your future. And once the exam is done, I would still like to think you all want to be the best you can be out in the field. You want to be that go-to person. You want to be the person that looks at somebody and says, no, that's not correct, because we need to do it the correct way. That's what you're doing here. You're building up those skills. Remember, working with the hands is important, but the mental aspect of being an electrician is equally important because lives depend on it. Okay? All right, so I pretty much showed you everything. And lastly, if you want to see what your grades are, you click on the progress down here. And here it'll have all your grades and all of our comments to you. And you can go through and look at your grades. You'll see how long you spent in the program and everything like that. Okay, so it's just so much stuff. And again, there's so much here, but those are the main things that you're going to really work with. So let me kind of take you back to me. Folks, I cannot stress enough that if you want to learn the National Electrical Code, if you're not doing an exam, but you just want to be more proficient in the code, or maybe you have employees and you want them all to be more proficient, because to be quite honest, we don't get paid to do things twice. We get paid to do things once. So enroll your students in this program and they will come out being a much better electrician overall. I promise you that. So preparing for a journeyman exam or a master exam, this is without a doubt the best course on the market. I don't pay to be in magazines. I don't pay for clicks online. You find out things about us because we're successful. That's it. And I have taught literally thousands of people the National Electrical Code. I've been doing this since 2004. In fact, go to the front of your code book. Under Code Panel 5 and Code Panel 17, you will see me there. I live and breathe this stuff. And this program was created, it was modified, it was enhanced, it's had things put in it, it's had things corrected. All of this because I want to make you a much better electrician. And for $425 or $525, if you want the plus, it's the best investment out there. You get access for 12 months. And again, it's going to help you succeed. Print off anything you want. All right. All right, folks, I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining me on this episode. And again, check out our website right there, fasttraxsystem.com. We have a bunch of demos on there. Check it out. And I hope to see you in the Fast Trax family. Till next time, stay safe. God bless.